received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, in U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history.
Yo, what's good, everyone? As you can see, Draymond Green has fully embraced his podcaster era. Ever since his team got bounced early, he's been leaning into the content side of things. Now, we already know how Draymond operates on the basketball court. There are endless compilations out there of him playing on the edge of the rule book. But since the Golden State Warriors got eliminated in the play-in tournament, he's apparently found a new outlet for that same energy. This time, he's coming for former NBA player Austin Rivers, the son of veteran head coach Doc Rivers. Draymond's claim is that Doc essentially handed his son a career and a paycheck he didn't fully earn on his own merits. Why he's concerned with another man's bag is a separate conversation, but the real question is, does he actually have a point? Make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay in the loop, and let's get into how this whole thing started.
It hasn't just been one way. It hasn't just been like, oh man, Draymond did this, Steve's mad. I don't take that any way at all. Speaking of this December thing, I spoke to him after that, and it was like, I don't think you like me. I don't think you've ever liked me, if I'm honest. Like, he cried. Like, really? However, what he's meant to me in my life, what he's taught me in my life, just telling them in our exit interview, the things that he's taught me about being a winner, I'm not sure where else I could have got that. I played for Tom Izzo, and Steve just took that to a completely different level, and especially showing me things about this level and winning. Like, I could never repay him for that. It's so important to who I've become. As much as he's done for me in basketball, a part of me think he's hindered me in my career and what I could have become. When KD came from 2016 on, I have not had a play in our playbook. Not a single play that we run for me in our playbook. This is 2016.
But I mean, how do you feature Draymond Green?
Feature him doing what?
I don't know.
Feature him doing what?
I'm trying to be fair to the context of this.
It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's utter ridiculous. And you know what's shocking? Because Draymond has such a he has such a high IQ. That's a big part of his game, is how smart of a basketball player he is. So it bewilders me that he even thinks like this, because it's like, Draymond, them taking a chance on you and them playing you and Steve putting you at the forefront of that offense, making you be the point forward and kind of the, allow you to have that voice and the freedom to have your, whether it's the spasms or when he loses it, or to be the emotional leader of that team. Steve let him be who he was. So to hear he was hindered, especially Draymond's never been an offensive score juggernaut. He's left open 80% of the game. No one guards him.
Now, Draymond was completely out of line going all the way back to high school stats to make his case. He's out here claiming he and Austin had comparable numbers, but since when is 20 points and 28 points the same thing? That math doesn't work, and he knows it. On top of that, the level of competition at their respective high schools wasn't even close to being equal, so that comparison falls apart from multiple angles. And this whole argument about role players feeling limited, that doesn't hold up either. There are plenty of players across the league who believe they're capable of doing more than their role requires, but they accept the assignment because that's what the team needs. Draymond himself is the perfect example of that on the other side of the coin. He was exceptional at everything he was asked to do within Golden State's system. So why is he pointing fingers at Steve Kerr for not expanding his offensive role? Because here's the thing. Draymond actually had his chance to show the world what he could do offensively. When Stephen Curry and Klay Thompson both missed the entire 2019-20 season, the floor was his. No Curry, no Klay. Time to step up. What did Draymond Green average that year? 8 points, 6 rebounds, and 6 assists per game on 38% shooting. And he only suited up for 43 games. That's the answer. When the two players who made the system go weren't there, Draymond had nothing to hide behind, and the numbers reflected it. It's been clear for a long time that he operates at a completely different level when Steph Curry is on the floor alongside him. So yes, Austin Rivers responded the way he did for a reason, but Draymond Green did not take kindly to those words.
It's the case. I'm still with my first team. He was gone from his first team in 2 years. And so I just like, sometimes you just should, like, not say something. You know, like, always isn't the time. Everything isn't something you should speak on. And I don't think that was really one for Austin Rivers to be bewildered about and, like, say it's ridiculous. Because, like, the guy received the biggest bailout in U.S. history prior to President Trump bailing out the airlines when they needed it. Austin Rivers received the biggest bailout in NBA history, in world history, U.S. history. Received the biggest bailout in U.S. history when his dad gave him $42 million. And I tip my hat to Doc. I pray that one day, it won't be $42 million then because NBA's gone up so much. But I pray that I can give DJ $200 million or give Deuce $250 million. I pray that I can do that one day. So I tip my hat to Doc.
And Draymond Green, of all people, should recognize exactly what it means to land in the right situation. If the Golden State Warriors hadn't drafted him in the second round and placed him inside one of the most well-run organizations in the league, there's no telling where his career ends up. So yes, he was fortunate enough to find the perfect fit, excel within that system, and ultimately earn over $200 million across his NBA career. He played his role. The organization valued that role, and they paid him accordingly. That's the exact same story as Austin Rivers. Austin played the role he was given, fulfilled what was asked of him, and collected his paycheck. So why is Draymond scrutinizing how that came together? And let's be clear about how NBA contracts actually work. Coaches don't sign checks. The general manager evaluates the roster, identifies needs, and makes personnel decisions. Ownership and the front office sign off on the money. Now, could Doc Rivers have had some level of influence in discussions about bringing his son onto a roster he was coaching? Possibly. That's a fair conversation to have. But the front office still had to see value in the move and authorize it. Austin still had to show up and perform the job. That part didn't get handed to him. He still had to earn it once he was there.
This is ridiculous. Seriously. Ridiculous. But you know what? I'm going to address it because you crossed the line and you are mad disrespectful for whatever reason. You've been around too long. We both were drafted in the same class. The fact that you don't have the wherewithal to do your due diligence and actually understand I was being highly complimentary of you on the Dan Patrick Show. But it's you, and I shouldn't be surprised. You always act irrationally, emotionally immature. And your anger always puts you in hot water. So here I am having to address a video of you belittling my career. First off, Draymond, we weren't the same players in high school. I don't care about our numbers being similar. I did it at the national level, the top level. Hence why I got the Naismith Award, and I got pretty much every award you can think of in high school. I was ranked number 1, you were ranked, I don't know. So cut it out. Next. College, you actually were a really good college basketball player, but it's hard to compare because I was only there for 6 months. Something you could never do. Talk about I was, one of the featured guys. No, I was the guy. I led my team in scoring. I was first team All-ACC, freshman player of the year, lottery pick. Stop. Next. The NBA, hey man, you got it, Dre. I mean, listen, I played in the NBA for more than 10 years, more than a decade, but 11 years, but I'm not a Hall of Famer like you. So I'll give you that credit. All right, you got it. But let's peel back that onion and understand why. Easy, Tiger. Okay? You have the delusion, the non-wherewithal. The irony of you saying I'm part of the biggest bailout in NBA history. Draymond, you are the luckiest basketball player I think I've ever seen, especially in modern day history. Let's talk about that. You were drafted to a franchise with a Hall of Fame front office, Bob Myers, Hall of Fame coach, Steve Kerr, the greatest shooter of all time, and perhaps the top 5 player of all time, Steph Curry, Hall of Famer. One of the greatest shooters, top 5 shooter of all time, another Hall of Famer, Klay Thompson. The Swiss Army knife himself, the guy who could do a little bit of everything on the floor, Andre Iguodala, another Hall of Famer. I know, keep up, it's a lot of talent. Not to mention one of the most lethal scorers of all time and arguably a top 10 player of all time, Kevin Durant, the same guy you chased off because of this, your mouth, you talk too much. And that's not even counting the plethora of talent around those guys. The Sean Livingstons, the Barbosas, the Andrew Wiggins, the Jordan Pooles, who you also chased off. Cut it out. Draymond, you're the backpack jump shooter. You're the guy that everyone leaves open. No one guards you.
There are hours and hours and hours of film of just you being left wide open. In fact, anybody can just YouTube or Google or watch any Draymond game ever, and he's open all game. There are clips of you getting a rebound and just driving in a straight line and just getting a wide open layup because everyone's fanning out to guard the actual talent on the team. Talk about Steve Kerr ended your career. Bro, Steve Kerr made your career. How dare you? Coming at me? Are you kidding me? I wish I could give my son $200 million if I was a coach. Yo, the NBA doesn't give coaching jobs to guys who may or may not sucker punch one of the players and staff. You need to fall back, Dre. Let's just be frenemies.
Draymond. And honestly, Draymond Green has been taking serious heat lately. Not just a little criticism, we're talking about a full roasting from multiple directions. And to be fair, he has shown occasional flashes of offensive ability throughout his career, but never consistently enough for anyone to seriously argue that a team should be running designed plays for him as a primary option. That's just the reality. And instead of sitting back and appreciating everything he actually accomplished, 4 championship rings and a Defensive Player of the Year award, which is a legacy most NBA players would trade anything for, he's out here throwing his former coach under the bus and claiming he could have been so much more if only he'd been used differently. That take doesn't land well, and it comes across as ungrateful given everything that system did for him. And there's a broader pattern worth pointing out here. It genuinely seems like the more some of these former players plant themselves in front of a microphone, the more their credibility takes a hit, especially when the content starts revolving around back and forth podcast beef with other players and commentators. It starts to undermine the actual legacy. On a bigger picture note, the Golden State Warriors dynasty appears to be officially finished, and it wouldn't be surprising at all if Draymond Green finds himself on a different team next season, or potentially hanging up his sneakers altogether. Either way, it sounds like his podcasting schedule is only going to get busier from here. That's going to do it for this one. Appreciate you for watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and I'll catch you in the next video.